Welcome to our, I was going to say Thursday, but it is Wednesday, isn't it? Sometimes during this time, the weeks and the days kind of blend into each other, but it's okay. It's just the way of the world. There we go. I can always tell because I recognize the shirt that I'm wearing. Otherwise, I wouldn't know which day it was that I was doing these meditations. Kitavo. When you come back, yesterday we talked about the voyages and ships and going out and coming back. Hello, Michelle Azar Aaron. So glad you could make it. And hello, Lisa Ponder. Lisa wrote, hello, you luminous rabbi, you. That's because today we are going to ask to feel luminous and loved at the end. I just wanted to call your attention to something that's a major part of the Torah portion. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Blessings. We talked so much about the curses. Michael Walden, who was our rabbinic intern, showed me a Devar Torah that he's going to be delivering, and in it. He mentions, actually, where is it? He mentions somebody that, I can find this. John Gottman, who was a psychologist from the 70s, and he did research on conflict in relationships, and he found that in good, positive relationships, like working relationships, not working, but relationships that work, there are 5 positive statements or interactions for every negative one. 5 positive interactions for every negative one. And Michael had an interesting read on this. Because on the one hand, you could say, oh, I see. So people who are in positive relationships, they have more positive interactions than they do negative ones, right? And the positive ones actually outweigh the negative ones 5-1. Which, when you think about it, is a pretty good ratio, right? If my wife and I could have 5 wonderful interactions, and everyone, every once in a while have a negative one, I think that would be pretty good. We've been married for almost 30 years, so I would imagine that we have had that ratio of 5-1. But he wrote it a different way. He extrapolated it in a different way, which I found interesting. He wrote, the emotional impact on a person of a single negative statement or a single negative encounter is equivalent to 5 positives. So, you could have 5 positive statements. You need 5 positive moments to combat the one negative moment that we get. I think that's actually, I think there is some truth to that, I think. There is some truth to the idea, oh, wait a minute, I'm going back on here. Oh, Michelle says yes. Hello, sis. There is some truth to this idea that one negative moment has the same lasting impact on us as 5 positive ones. And I know that we're taking it kind of out of the context where what a wonderful thing it is if you're in a positive relationship with someone, you have 5 positive moments, only 1 negative one. This flips that on its head. Because that negative side, we have talked about this over the last couple of years. So much easier to move to the negative. Interestingly, I had 3 teenagers sitting in my office earlier, and we were talking about Tashlich. And, we were thinking about how are we going to do Tashlich? And we were thinking about these negative and these positive thoughts, combining with this Nachman of Bratslav idea that even if you feel you're a horrible person, you should try to find that one part of you that's good, that sliver of goodness, and that sliver of goodness will come to the front, and it'll make you feel better. So we were asking these kids, and one of the high school kids was like, I don't have those kinds of negative thoughts. We, of course, were like, that can't possibly be true, but it was. He didn't have personal negative thoughts about the way he was. Now, most of us in the room, the other three of us, were like, oh my God, I have these negative thoughts all the time. Fascinating that one negative thought, in order to combat it, you need 5 positives. It's the exact opposite of what happens in the Torah portion. In the Torah portion, Moses says the blessings that will come to us if we abide by the commandments, but then he starts describing the curses that will happen to us if we don't abide by the commandments, and there are literally 4 times as many curses as there are blessings. 4 times as many curses as there are blessings. That's sobering. Maybe they didn't understand what that doctor came up with in the 70s. After all, it was several thousands of years ago that the Torah text was written. But I think if we look at the blessings and curses that are in this Torah portion metaphorically in a way, and we say, when you do good, you have that feeling of goodness inside of you. But when you don't, it feels the weight of 4 times that. So that the negative impact that comes to us, or the impact on our psyche from negative moments, is 4 times as strong as those that are positive. And that may have been what was said in the 70s by the Dr. Gottman. Actually, Gottman is interesting. It's Godman. It's Gottman in German. That might also be what he's saying, but I like emphasizing the positive better than the other way, right? I like to say, if you have 5 positive interactions, that's equal to 1 negative interaction, as opposed to, if you do good things, you'll have these nice blessings that'll happen to you, but if you don't, I'm going to list an unbelievably long list, and it's 4 times as long as those blessings. So you better not act up. I like to think of it more that when we do, as I said earlier, when we do mess up, or when we do have these negative moments, the impact on us inside is equivalent to 5 positives. And what that shows to me is that human beings in general, it's not everybody, in general, human beings have this visceral reaction to the negative that stays inside of you, and to such in a way that it can be, at times, it can be paralyzing, and you can't come out of it. Reb Nachman would have us think, don't be paralyzed by it. Think of one good thing. Think of one good thing, and that one good thing, actually, Gottman's wrong. That one good thing can bring you out of the feeling that you have that's so negative. That all you need is one positive thought. I'm not so sure if that would necessarily work, but I do believe in positive thoughts helping us in maintaining a healthy outlook on our lives. And look, for me, to recognize the negative aspects of us is a positive, and to recognize that we all have these negative aspects to ourselves, I think allows us to look at ourselves from an objective way, and then again to find those things that are positive. And if we can search inside of ourselves and find those things that are good about us, then the things that are negative, even if we're dwelling on them, we realize that that's only one little part of us. And that little positive thing is one little part of us. It's not all of us. The negative isn't all of us. That we're complicated human beings that are made up of a whole range of emotions and feelings and ways in which we try to accomplish goals. So we just happen to have this judgmental penchant right? We just happen to think about the negative, that it just stays with us. Wait, I don't see what Lisa wrote. Could it be that when we do one of the good things Moses mentions, does that mean that one good thing we did is so powerful that it can prevent 4 times as many horrible things? It's actually, I think Gottman's phrase is the other way around, that one negative thing is equal to the 4 positive things. But I like the way you're phrasing it, and I'd like to remember that one good thing can negate those 4 negative things. I would like to go there, even though the 4, maybe that's why there's 4 times as many negative things, because the power of the one positive can infiltrate those 4 negative. That's not what Gottman says. I'm not sure if that's what Moses would say, but I do like that, Lisa, and I think that would be a wonderful way to think about it. Okay, let's get to our quiet time, and just allow everything to be as it is for now. Sometimes it's hard when there's so much going on in our lives and so much that's swirling in our brain to quiet ourselves for a good 15 minutes. Let's just try it. Let's just try to get there. Leave our stress behind for a moment. Leave that tension behind. Get rid of those negative judgments just for a moment, just as we concentrate on our breath. Let's see how that works for us. I was waiting for that. We're just breathing normally, not trying to push anything. Feel your breath come in, that involuntary breath that keeps us alive without us concentrating on it. if your mind is taking you away from your breath. Just bring yourself back in love, with chesed. No need to judge yourself. Your mind's just doing what it's supposed to do. Just bring yourself back to concentrating on your breath. As we move into our final minutes together, on Wednesdays we ask for two feelings. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. May I feel luminous, shining, filled with light, glowing with knowledge, with positivity. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. May I recognize that I'm loved somewhere in this world, even if it's only by myself. May I feel loved. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. May I feel luminous. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. If you'd like to offer this to someone else, just put them in your mind's eye right in front of you. Offer to them. May you feel luminous. May you feel loved. May you feel luminous. May you feel loved. It's enough to be loved, but to feel loved, sometimes that's harder. May I feel luminous. May I feel loved. May you feel luminous. May you feel loved. And I invite us all to just go back to our breath for our final moments. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you were able to find some stillness and peace. May you feel luminous. May you feel loved. And may you have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.